Famous YouTuber iDubbbzTV opens up. Make sure to watch to the end.
For a while, I felt like if I changed my content over time, that people would see that as a reflection of who I am
Okay.
and what I value. But I'm starting to realize that that is a very weak and passive way to, run my channel and live my life.
Okay.
So I think it's, if I'm going to have the balls to go to Tana's fan meetup and say slurs at her and then make a video about how it's okay to say slurs, I think I should
Yeah.
have the balls to make an apology video and take accountability for the mistakes I've made.
Let's just be clear, right? Maybe this goes without saying, but I think making slurs anytime and trying to support the use of slurs is probably I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Crazy concept.
So that's what this video is. I've realized that I need to be crystal clear about what I believe.
Yeah.
So there's no room for ambiguity. I am responsible for creating a lot of hurtful and damaging content on this channel.
Okay.
And I've also created a culture of apathy and I don't know, a lot of like cruelty as well. Like, some of the videos I've made have been very not edgy. I don't think they some of these videos were edgy. I think they
Okay.
were just outright cruel. So I don't
Okay.
want people to, get it confused about, where I stand. I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it.
I'm really glad to see that this is happening. I'm not super familiar with iDubbbzTV. I mean, I know that I've watched some of his videos in the past, but maybe that's why I didn't watch it, because it was kind of cruel and I didn't like it. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'm familiar with the fact that he's a big YouTuber. He does make controversial content, and it's really good to see that people can turn around like this and actually acknowledge their mistakes. Have the awareness, to see that, hey, maybe something's not quite right here. Yeah, this is really encouraging. It's good to see.
The content I'm talking about specifically are content cop videos and videos where I was just generally criticizing people for very lackluster reasons.
Okay.
And, obviously didn't have any accountability online whatsoever on my end. I was morally grandstanding and acting as if I am any better than any of these people that I was making content cop videos on.
Right.
And I'm not. I'm a human. I'm a real human who makes mistakes. And, I make a different set of mistakes than the people I was making videos on. But it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone...
Let's just throw this out there, right? We're all human. We all make mistakes. Some of us like to pretend that we don't make any mistakes, but let's not kid ourselves. We all do. We all do.
No one deserves that level of cruelty or hate. It's also indoctrinated a lot of people into thinking that this is an okay way to behave. And it's not.
Right.
It's super irresponsible and shitty. I am very...
Yeah, that's okay. So that is one thing for sure that is kind of unfortunate about the content creator world we live in, right? Is that our communities, the Discord groups, whoever that's following is they can easily be influenced, right? And especially if it's a younger crowd that follows. I'm guessing the kind of more cruel or extreme content like that, it would be like a younger crowd that's kind of more into that. I'm guessing, I'm not sure. And if that's the case, they're more easily influenced, right? The younger minds are easier to mold, right? Someone they look up to, they're going to start emulating. And so maybe they start, doing that kind of cruel content in their real life, throwing slurs out there just randomly at their friends or schoolmates or people on the street. So yeah, that is an unfortunate side effect, and it's good that he has the self-awareness to see that and is addressing it. That's good.
Insecure about my ability to create interesting content or like entertain. It's gotten better over the years, but it's something that I have struggled with constantly. And it's one of the reasons why I, kept making this hurtful content, I ended up pivoting it into other things because I felt bad about it, like innately.
Right.
But it's still something that I struggle with. And
Yeah, so that's that actually makes a lot of sense, right? So if he's kind of struggling with self-esteem issues with his content and his ability to be, comedic and funny, it kind of makes sense that he would look at it from this angle of like, okay, I get these really extreme reactions and I get a lot of views and I'm making good money with the kind of more negative stuff. I'm just going to stick with that because I don't feel confident, branching out and trying to be more, I don't know, more PC, if you will. That's not necessarily what I mean, but like more positive, or making people laugh without saying slurs or saying cuss words and stuff like that. If he's not as confident in himself in that way, it would make sense that he would continue to gear himself towards the negative stuff and kind of snowball downward like that. It's unfortunate, but it makes sense in that context of, oh, he's struggling with self-esteem issues.
I don't want you to interpret that as an excuse, but I hope that
Right.
that is relatable to other creators who maybe struggle with the same thing.
Right.
I'm not confident in my ability to entertain, and I think if I had to rely on my personality to entertain people, that I wouldn't have any amount of success.
That definitely sucks. Yeah, so definitely struggling with some self-esteem issues there. And yeah, that's really unfortunate. I can relate, of course. I mean, I think we all can, especially people trying to be in the public eye at all, right? You just do struggle a little bit with like, okay, what are people going to think? How are they going to react? And some more extreme than others in that kind of, personal feeling. Yeah, that's really unfortunate that he kind of felt that way and led his content in that direction. But it's good that he's trying to flip it around. It's good he's making the apology. He's making the effort. Hopefully it can be a full 180, right? And go in a really positive direction from here and be successful with better content.
And that is really hard to come to terms with.
Yeah.
I was being very bigoted in a lot of my videos, and I justified it because I didn't think it was too serious.
Yeah.
And I thought that people were going to see that I had good intentions, but that's so silly, Casual
Yeah.
racism is still racism.
Right.
Casual bigotry is still bigotry.
Yeah.
And, I said,
I just want to address this. The good intentions, man. Yeah. Especially on the internet. I don't know why it's this way. Like, we know we're human, and humans are not black and white. There's a lot of gray in there. Like, I don't know why we assume everything at face value, but we always seem to do that. It happens so often. And so even though he's thinking like, oh, well, I have good intentions, it's just to make people laugh, maybe he's trying to say like, oh, I don't actually mean all of this. But unless you like put a disclaimer at the front of your video, either in text or a video form where you're actually speaking to your audience and saying like, hey, I don't actually mean any of this, this is just me trying to make you laugh, it's all for fun, this is not my true feelings on any of this. Yeah, I think people are automatically just going to believe it.
Said a lot of things that I look back at and I cringe now, and I'm like, that is an awful thing to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what my intentions are. Like, if I'm hurting people, I'm hurting people.
Right.
And, who the fuck knows what my intentions are? Like,
Yeah.
sarcasm and, like, jokiness and jokey tone only goes so far,
Exactly.
especially over the internet. Even in real life, that's, like, an impossible thing to know with 100% certainty. I've just always had this dumb philosophy that I'm not responsible for my audience and how they behave beyond what content I put out.
Yeah.
And that's stupid. And it's led to a lot of hate and a lot of bad outcomes.
Right.
And I just want to make it clear that I am absolutely responsible for my audience. And I guess if you want to look out for people who are red flags, it's definitely people who had my mentality that say, I'm not responsible for what my audience does.
Right.
I know that this apology isn't enough.
So yeah, that's a good thing that he has that self-awareness to address that, right? So he's affecting his audience as well, and, you know, spreading kind of that negativity, or was with his past content. I just really hope that this self-awareness sticks with him, you know. Like, don't wear it as a cross, as something really heavy, you know. You're trying to like beat yourself up about it every single day. Like, definitely it needs to be a reminder for you. Like, remember that you made this mistake, but use that as like, okay, I'm going to do much better going forward. I'm going to make awesome content without being derogatory or using slurs or, you know, being racially charged or whatever. And, you know, just really make a positive community, be a positive force on the platform. That, I hope that's what he does.
I've clearly done a lot of damage. You know,
Okay.
these videos have been up for a long time and have accumulated millions of views.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be able to just make an apology video and walk away from it.
Yeah.
This is something that I should live the rest of my life with, and I expect to. I've profited off of this bigoted content for years,
Yeah.
and I've made a successful career out of it, and that's not right. I think that this is only a
Right.
step in the right direction, and I know that a lot more needs to be done to even approach a life that I would think would be like acceptable.
Okay.
I am running ads on this video, and any revenue generated from this video, I'm going to match and donate to an organization that, you know, would have been particularly affected by the type of rhetoric that I've been spewing on this channel.
That's really good. I'm actually really happy to hear that. So, not only is he acknowledging everything and having the awareness, right, that hey, I made some crap and, you know, it affected people badly, and, you know, this was definitely not a good thing. I was, you know, irresponsible, immature, whatever. You know, he's apologizing. He's addressing it. He's saying, hey, I have the self-awareness now. I can see it. He's also monetizing the video, not for himself, but to donate all of the money to a charity. That's great. And a charity that would have been affected by his content. So he's like directly trying to do some repairs, some damage control immediately. And I think that's really encouraging, right? Not a lot of people do that. They do the apology, but then they leave it there, and maybe they can, I don't know, maybe they make the same mistakes again, or it just never gets talked about again, or whatever. This is good. Immediate damage control. It shows like a really like tangible change. That's, in my opinion, that's what I see.
And again, this isn't the end of what I'm doing. This is just the start.
Right.
I don't feel like a lot of this content represents me as a person, at least not anymore. There was a time where it probably perfectly represented me because I was a nasty, apathetic, insecure person. Now that I don't feel like it represents me and I want to distance myself from it and keep it from, you know, indoctrinating more people.
Yeah.
I'd like to unlist the videos so that people, you know, can access them still for whatever, you know, purposes they might want to do that for. But it's not being proliferated on the website.
Okay.
I feel like that's the best solution, at least for the time being.
I think that's also really good. Yeah. So he's really trying to do as much damage control as possible. Like, hey, I had a bit of a revelation. I was kind of an idiot, kind of put some stuff out there that, you know, made a toxic environment, and it was not good. I hurt people. Let's do everything I can really quickly here to address this. And yes, I know there's going to be people that say like, oh, he's just doing this to get heat off his back. You know, he just wants people to forget that he made these mistakes and so that he can move on and make more money. Sure, you can say that. Maybe that's true. I definitely get a little bit of, you know, genuine feeling here. So I can see the regret, you know, I can look at the human and see the pain a little bit. So I think he's actually making a good move here. He's doing a lot of good things, and hopefully it really does continue into the future.
And for anyone who liked those videos, I I want this video to be an example and a lesson for you. You know, you can like content, but you can also think that it's irresponsible and it's hurting other people.
Yes.
So
yes.
Just tap into that part of your brain that's saying like, oh, okay, it's probably not that important that this video stays online, because truthfully, I've seen it, I've experienced the content, but
yeah,
it's done a lot of damage. We can just let it go.
Yeah, I totally understand what he's saying here, and I completely agree. Like, we should be able to. It's the same thing that I was saying about us as humans, right? It's not just black and white. There's some gray in there. It's the same thing with content. Like, we should be able to look at something and say, like, hey, I can appreciate the funny aspect, but hey, you should also be able to see, like, hey, this is actually really, irresponsible, or this is not healthy for, community or younger people watching these videos and stuff like that. Like, I totally agree. I think he's making the right moves by unlisting the videos, right? So, if somebody wanted to make a parody, or not a parody, I'm sorry, but like a compilation of all of the kind of like, hey, this is a mashup of all of his worst videos. Like, this is the kind of stuff we need to avoid, or something like that. Maybe somebody was making a video like that. So they still have access for that reason, but it's not being like put into rankings or being recommended on people's pages. I think that's good. I think he's making good moves.
I'm sorry to everyone that I made content cop videos on. I still don't like the majority of you, and that's fine. But I can recognize that you did not deserve the hate and harassment that I sent your way.
Yeah.
I particularly want to apologize to Tana. Tana, I'm sorry. I should have never made that video. I harassed Tana in person and then
Ouch.
harassed her online. And that's deplorable behavior. It's so stupid. I'm also sorry to all the black viewers and minority groups who had to put up with that video and put up with, the phrases. I said either it's all okay or none of it's okay. And that's just so dangerous and stupid. I have made content that I'm proud of over the
I'm like visibly cringing out of my skin. Like, I'm glad he's apologizing. That's definitely an important first step in these situations, but man, it is uncomfortable. Ugh.
years. It hasn't been as consistent as maybe I'd like it to have been, but there is a lot of content that I think had a net positive on the world, and I'm going to strive to continue on that trend.
Okay.
But again, I'm absolutely going to continue to make mistakes, but I want the mistakes to be a lot smaller and a lot less serious. I also want to give some clarity to the post-fight speech that I gave. I mean, it wasn't a speech. It was a phrase. I was like,
I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I really do appreciate the support, and, thank you for coming.
That was addressing the people over the years that I neglected and I left behind. The people whose feelings I, didn't take into consideration. Those are the people who I was addressing as, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks that I should be shouting the N-word from the rooftops, I don't want to be your cup of tea. Now I want to talk about...
Good. Let's just get that out on the table. Nice. That's a good move to make, iDubbbz. Dang. No, yeah, that little clip there of the post fight, right? His little speech. I mean, not a full speech, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you could really feel the feeling there. I mean, this guy's hurting about it, From whatever angle you want to look at it, he's definitely hurting, and I'm glad that he's trying to make reparations. That's good.
Events and situations that have happened over the past 5 years of my life that have led me to the place I'm at now.
Yeah.
One year I was at a convention and a bunch of fans were, wanting pictures, and this particular fan came up to me and said, I know you probably don't like transgender people, but can I, get a picture? That smacked me in the face. I was like, oh, holy shit. Why would you think that? But I mean, it was fairly obvious. I was being cruel, hateful, bigoted, and being very uncaring about people's feelings.
Oh man, that hurt. That hurt me. Oh, that's hard to watch. Whew. Yeah, man, that's got to be a reality check. I'm so glad that he's had this kind of flip in awareness, because I like felt that for him. Oh, that was uncomfortable. Oh man. Yeah, I'm so glad that he's flipping things around. This is good. This is a good first step. He kept saying it. I'm saying it too. It's a good first step. He's got to continue on this path, but man, am I glad he's kind of trying to turn it around.
That is a very fair assessment to make. I was giving this person bad vibes.
Yeah.
And I think I've given a lot of people extremely bad vibes.
Yeah.
Another event that was very important for me to experience was I went on a boxing podcast. I was basically like trying to walk back my Tana content cop. You know, I was still very like insecure and uncomfortable with the fact that I made that video.
Yeah.
And but I was still coping. You'll see me struggle in this clip to, you know, say that it was wrong.
So I just wanted to let you talk on that, right? Because obviously using the N-word is definitely frowned upon by a lot of people, especially by a non-African American. But I was just curious.
That was a very weird video because I wanted to like criticize her for her like sort of flagrant use of it. I've been pretty flagrant about it too, not in the same way. I thought there was a message to be shared there, and I don't think it was particularly. It was okay in criticizing her, but I think I probably wasn't the person to deliver the message, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see what he's talking about before when he was prefacing for this clip. And yeah, he's definitely dancing around it, right? So he's like taking some accountability, but also trying to like justify it a little bit. And yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the right take to give, especially in the internet day and age. If you want to apologize, you should probably just apologize, or the haters are still gonna hate, man. They are still gonna hate.
Makes sense. There was a message that I was trying to put out there, and like I'm not really the person to put out that message. I don't regret making the video. I think, you know, there's bits and pieces to take from it that I think are valuable.
Yeah, still
but,
coping.
You know, I probably wouldn't make it these days. I'm very grateful to those guys and how they broached the subject, because you know, it didn't put me on the defensive. It just made me realize, like, I'm stupid. I'm stupid, and I really need to, like, acknowledge these things. Like, what am I doing? I'm still trying to make excuses for myself and, like, you know, why I made that video. It's like, it was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
I harassed someone.
Yep.
I was saying slurs, and I was trying to justify it all. A very big thing that has sort of altered my view on all of this is just the amount of hate and harassment my wife Anissa has received over the years. She's had to deal with it from the beginning of our relationship.
That's always unfortunate when the people around you get roped into things too. Like, man, that's just the way of the content creation, I guess. It's so unfortunate. It's so ugly, you know? You're the one making the content. Why does anyone else have to be a part of it? I totally get that, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm a public figure, and people know who this person is that's attached, you know, or choosing to be attached to me or whatever. So it's just ugly. I wish it wasn't this way, but it is. You know, that's just how it is. Oh well.
And I have done a horrible job at acknowledging her and her feelings for it.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I just thought that was her problem, or that was you know, other people's problem. Like,
yeah.
It's not my problem that you're getting hate and harassment. And it's like,
the whole apathetic outlook, it makes it so easy to just brush everything off, right? But then, I don't know. Yeah, you don't really get to ever address anything, and it all gets kind of built up on you. It's like your apathy is a bubble around you, and you're letting things just kind of build up on top of you until the weight of everything that you're apathetic about just comes crashing down on you. And that's kind of what's happened to him, I think. Like, oh, crap. I was affecting a lot of people and doing a lot of things wrong, and maybe I should address it. Maybe I should change.
No, it absolutely is. You know, that's the culture that I cultivated.
Yeah.
And I, you know, didn't do anything to change that.
Yeah.
You know, over the years it's changed a little bit, but you know, I don't think I've still fully acknowledged how responsible I am for the amount of harassment that Anissa has had to deal with.
Yeah.
And this year I decided to speak more candidly and be more open about who I am as a person, and to speak on my life a little bit more.
That's good.
And I did that on Anthony Padilla's podcast. These are the people that I'm attracting. These are the people that I'm entertaining. Like, I need to reevaluate things. They're relating and enjoying this content for a reason. and that's not maybe the same reason that I'm trying to make. I had a
Hey, by the way, Anthony Padilla, he makes great videos where he interviews people, other content creators usually, but other people as well. And man, go check him out. I'm interested to see this one. I want to see what the interview went like with iDubbbz.
very Wild West mentality when it came to online behavior. Like, people are going to do what they want to do. People are going to say what they want to say. And I can pretty much do the same because it's the internet. But
yeah.
I think you have to be a lot more responsible. If you guys are at all interested in how I've arrived here, that video gives, you know, a good bit of context and talks about some of my life a little bit. There is a clip from this interview that's been floating around the internet, and it's me calling my fans antisocial and basement dwellers, and I was like, I didn't like, you know, interacting with my fans. I just want to be clear, like, that was my realization. I think a lot of people are like, of course that happened, is because you were creating that culture and you were attracting those people. And it's like, yes, I know.
Right.
I know now. I didn't know before. It was my realization upon, you know, meeting more and more fans that I was like, oh shit, you guys are struggling.
Yeah.
It was easy for me to identify them struggling when they were outside of my body. But the antisocial basement dwelling incel that was inside here, I couldn't acknowledge that. I couldn't recognize that.
And again, he probably just needed to have like some key triggering moment where he actually realized it. And maybe it was the, I don't know, the controversy around the Tana situation, or maybe it was like a particular viewer, or maybe it was, you know, when his I can't remember if it was girlfriend or wife, possibly wife, was being super affected by all this, and that came out. You know, personal life things can really change your perspective. So yeah, I don't know what it was, but either way, whatever it was, I'm super glad that he had the realization and he's trying to turn things around. And as long as he keeps going in that direction, just keep going, man. Keep going.
So I needed the mirror to be held up to me.
Yeah.
In closing, I want to say that I have always thought that I was an empathetic person, because I thought, well, I get angry, I get sad. Of course I got empathy. Seems easy, right? Empathy.
Right.
I definitely have that. There were moments where like a dog would die in a film and I'd cry. So it's like, of course I have empathy.
Yeah.
But I never did. I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability, empathy.
Yeah.
And I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32 I've acquired empathy. But
He leveled up. He's acquired empathy. No. Yeah, I think maybe some people do misunderstand what empathy actually is. I think that happens a lot. Yeah, crying at a dog dying in a movie is not necessarily empathy. You got to actually be able to understand someone else's feelings, like fully understand, whether by trying to put yourself in their shoes or because you've experienced the same thing. Like, oh, they are sad, and I actually get why. Like, I'm trying to think about it and actually understand why they are sad and feel for them. Like, dang, I feel sad for you. Like, I get it. That sucks. You know, that's empathy. Sympathy is just like, oh, you're sad. Oh, I'm sorry you're sad. Like, you're not really trying to understand. And maybe that's what he was experiencing when he was saying that he thought he had empathy before. He was really just experiencing sympathy. I'm not sure, but that's what it kind of sounds like. But yeah, I'm glad he's leveling up. He's gaining some important life skills, and that's awesome. That's really good.
But I have, and I've realized it because I just like can't help myself but like feel for other people's pain and suffering now. I'm still not perfect. I think that is my empathy meter's only maybe like a quarter of the way filled up potentially. But it's at least there.
Yeah.
And I just want you guys to know that you can unlock ability empathy if you experience more life. It might take you getting hurt a little bit, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. So thank you for watching, everyone. I do want to create more regular content. And,
good.
I don't want to just have the next 5 videos be apologies. So I have uploaded a squirrel video on my second channel if you want to watch that. I guess as one final thing, I just want to thank everyone who's given me the space and the compassion to grow as a person.
Yeah.
Because it's taken longer than it probably should have. I appreciate everyone, and I think most importantly, I appreciate my wife, Anissa. She has been insanely compassionate and helpful and patient in allowing me to grow over the years, and has legitimately encouraged me to be a better person.
Nice.
And not a better person in just like the iDubbbz becoming woke kind of way. She was the one who said that I should try this boxing thing. I would have never done that on my own because I was insecure and I was pathetic. I did this, and I am so glad I did. It's been amazing. So, Anissa, I love you. You're amazing. Right now you're streaming. But bon voyage. Toodles.
Dang, guys. Dang. I actually really like how that turned out. That was really good. No, I definitely felt that. Like, I felt that he was, struggling, that he had a real, genuine, revelation, and he's actually turning things around. I really hope he continues on that path, just keep going, man. Just keep going. Create the positive content, work on yourself. Find more empathy like you're talking about. Maybe you're only a quarter of the way full on your empathy bar. Try and fill it up 100%. Why not? And just keep leveling up in life. I think he's doing great. I think this is a huge step in the right direction for him, and it's good to see. I don't ever want to hear that, he was this way and he's that way forever. That's not how we are as people. That's not how it works. We can change. We can turn things around. It is possible. Trust me. I've changed a lot myself. It's really cool to see that he's actually turning things around. Well, what do you guys think? Is iDubbbzTV turning things around? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like, a subscribe, and I will see you next time.